वो सोया ही नहीं रहेगा. He still wanted to feed more. I left.
Yes, Hanika, were you saying something? Sorry.
कुछ भी. Cute.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the webinar on student agency in the early years. I am Anjali Bindra, and I would like to welcome my expert guest, Ms. Hanika Raheja. Welcome, Ms. Hanika.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Anjali, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yes. Okay. A little about us. My name is Anjali Bindra, and of course, I have been working with the early years with this age group for the past 16 years. The the thought of watching these young minds at inquiry, these curious minds working together, that is what really excites me and amazes me and makes me continue in this field of education, in this field with the young ones. I have been working with Wockhardt Global School for the past 4 years. This is my fifth year in this school, and we are an IB Continuum school located at Aurangabad, Maharashtra, India. Yes, I would like to welcome Ms. Hanika. Would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Myself, Hanika Raheja. I have done my BCom and BEd, and I have been associated with an IB school for 9 years. that is Victorious Kids at Pune. And all these years, I have been working with the early years. That's age group 5 to 6 years. Like Anjali said, inquiry with these early years, with these young minds is really interesting. Also, it is challenging for the teachers to conduct inquiry, but it is equally meaningful, and it gives us peace when we see them inquiring and the understanding which they take away from that inquiry. So I have loved working with this age group, and yes, it was a nice experience for me.
Wonderful. It's really an honor to have you with us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, now the 30-minute webinar will focus on these following points. That is, what do you really understand by agency? We will look at agency at the center of the enhanced PYP model, and we will look at learner agency and action in the early years. Um, Also, some choice, voice ownership, and agency in action in my school, and especially during these remote learning times. We will give away some strategies to implement student agency during remote learning, and of course, some food for thought, right? Yes, we really need to think about a few things because everything, though it seems easy, is not always that effortless, right? Yes, and of course, later at the end of the session, the last 10 minutes would be a period where we would have a question answers. So, and also during the entire webinar, whenever you feel like you have a question or you want to share your ideas, please enter them in the chat box. Thank you so much. Okay, let's dive right in then. What do you understand by agency? I would like to ask our guest, what do you think agency means, Hanika?
Okay. Yes. So for me, this quote by Benjamin Franklin sums up agency really well. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. Yes, I might say it's when students take ownership of their own learning and responsibility for what they learn. When students take an active role in their learning process, that learning gives them an enduring understanding of their concepts. And yes, that stays with them for lifelong. So, yes, Miss Anjali, now I would like to ask you, what do you think is agency?
Yes, yes, definitely. If you look at the social science meaning of agency, agency is defined as the capacity of individuals to act independently and to make their own free choices. That does sum up agency. And if according to Wikipedia, one's agency is one's independent capability or ability to act on one's will. Earlier teachers would, on the whole, say that their students have greater agency than others further up the school due to not having as many academic or other requirements placed on them. In the early years, children often explore the units through play, and this naturally lends itself into giving agency to our younger students. It is in these moments that students find their voice, action, and choices. Don't you think that, Miss Anika?
Yes, that's very true. So, like we are dealing with this age group, they automatically give us the chance to do agency really easily.
Absolutely. And you have been with the early
Yes.
years, right, Miss Hanika?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
For all these years, I was with early years only.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, yes. Okay. All right. All right. Now let us see what the IB says about how the IBPYP defines agency as the power to take meaningful and intentional action and acknowledges the rights and responsibilities of the individual, supporting voice, choice, and ownership for everyone in the learning community. Simply put, when students have an active voice and stake in the classroom. That's right. Wonderful. All right. Now, as we all know that after reviewing the PYP model rigorously, the agency has been put at the center of the PYP enhanced model. Ms. Hanika, would you like to share your thoughts about it?
Sure. Sure, yes. So, being an inquiry teacher in the early years, I can say this from my experience that from the time we have brought agency into the core of the enhanced PYP, it has given us more power to conduct inquiry based learning. It makes us more mindful for giving opportunities to implement agency. Yes, we were already doing this. We were giving kids a chance to put up their voice, to choose. But yes, after it has come in the core of the PYP, we have become more mindful with it. So, like we see here, agency is at the center of the PYP model. And these are the three elements revolving around it: the learner, the learning community, and learning and teaching process. They play a very important role in making agency happen. The learning community, that is, we as teachers, the parents, the stakeholders, everyone has to give an opportunity to the students to voice their opinions. It won't just work if we at school are giving. Back home, also, this should be done. So, yes, once the students are given to make a choice, the students take ownership of their own learning. That the learning and teaching process should be planned in such a way that they are given opportunities. Yes, we should not have a structured teaching method. It should be an open-ended one where students can choose what they want to do, where they want to do. They can set up their own learning space, and they can be given an opportunity to decide what way they want to learn. So yes, that's how we can conduct agency. Now, what we as teachers, what should we ask ourselves before conducting this? Yes, if we have teachers around in the webinar, you all can look at these questions and you all can imagine your school scenario and find answers to these questions. So as we see voice, do all students have a say? Go back to your classroom scenario and just think of different students in the class. Are we giving everyone an opportunity to say? In case of any language barriers, like we have some students who do not are not really comfortable in the host school language, are we giving them an opportunity to, you know, put forward their questions in their mother tongue? How are decisions made? Are we involving everyone in the decision making, all students? We should think about these questions. What do you think, Ms. Anjali?
True, very true. It's actually very tricky, I feel, earlier though is it seems really very effortless, like I said earlier, because all our learning happens through play is at the center of our learning. And
Yes,
play, you can arrange playful activities, but you cannot organize, you cannot plan a play. They they will not play according to your plan, right? It is just
yes,
arranging the playful activities, and then it automatically gives ownership to the child.
ownership.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yes,
that's very true.
yes. And
So
as
yes,
a yes, of course, and as a earliest teacher, we know that observing our students is the best way to understand them, and it's a best way to plan our inquiry with them.
further,
Yes, we
yes.
can take an inquiry forward just by listening to them.
Just by listening to them and observing them,
Right.
yes. So
Yes.
yeah, while keeping in mind choice, we should also see who is setting up the learning space. It should not always be that a particular group of kids select. We should give a chance to everyone, and we should keep in mind their needs also. Are students given this opportunity? We should think once, do students get to select what they want to do? We should not be always, putting forward, okay, let's do this today. No, we should give students an opportunity to select what do they want to do. Okay, yes, we have to do a particular concept, but how do they want to do it also matters a lot.
Yes, true.
So also when we think of ownership, do students get to make choices? Do we let them follow their passion? Like in our early years, obviously, yeah, there are kids who may like to draw a lot, who may like to talk about it, who may like to write about it. Are we allowing them to follow their passion and do what they like? Yes, we as an IB school do allow this. So teachers who are there in our group can, ponder on these questions, thinking about their classroom scenario, their school situation.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do agree. Yes, right. Now, I think let's look at this one document, which is of course available on the IBO. Uh, the IBO had conducted a webinar on the learner agency in the early years, and it is available on YouTube. Because it's a 45 minutes video, we couldn't really, take out the essence of it. But then I'm going to share a link at the end of this webinar where you could go and watch the video. During that webinar, these were the questions which which the experts inquired into, and they shared their thoughts about it. And it's really wonderful, because we are looking at what a learner is doing, what a facilitator is doing, and what is actually happening in the environment. If you look at the new early years planning bubble planner, earlier of course it was called the bubble planner. we have specific spaces to add what are our learning spaces, how we create the environment. And that is only specific to the early years learning planner. How we design our play, what are the spaces where the students will get an opportunity to play. And that is really wonderful, because environment also gives students a chance to exercise their agency. It's how we provide the space for them to demonstrate the learning, like it has been said, how they're able to access the different resources that are available for them. It makes it makes it really very flexible for them to move around, and they have their own voice in doing so. And of course, and you never know during these learning experiences what different kind of experiences they would have, and how their perspectives would change. And we can also see, we also view students working in teams and collaborating with each other. And this is at that such times that a facilitator is really observing them, and seeing how they interact with each other, and how she could promote collaboration between them. And of course, automatically it becomes an evidence of the learning, and supports us to have a growth mindset, and also be responsible, I feel. And of course, because we are there, the facilitators are there, and the environment, we ensure that the environment is very safe. So this is the environment plays a very important role in choice person ownership. And of course, here, if we this y'all can view this document on the website, and also it's available if you search for it on Google. That it's a very good checklist, actually, for us teachers as facilitators, to see whether authentic agency is being implemented in the classroom. We can use this as a checklist to see what the learner is doing, what we as a facilitator are doing, and what is our environment conducive to their growth. So do make use of this document, teachers. Yeah. Moving forward, here, when agency, it was just a matter of time that when agency would actually come at the core of PYP, because agency and action are, you can say, flip sides of a coin. IB says agency is present when students partner with teachers and members of the learning community to take charge of what, where, why, with whom, and when they learn, right? So this provides opportunities to demonstrate and reflect on knowledge, approaches to learning, and attributes of the learner profile. Students with agency have choice, voice, ownership, and a propensity to take action. Students with agency have influence and direct learning. Students with agency also have to contribute and participate in the learning community. But then what is action? This is what the IB says agencies. What is action? Action is embedded in the philosophy of IB. As a PYP teacher, we know that action was such an important element of the IB. It is an important element of the IB, and it's promoted throughout all its circular programs, right from the early year, that's a PYP, to the MYP, and right across DP. Right? In the PYP, action is considered to be both on application of learning and an opportunity for students to engage in a form of contribution or service. Okay, the same is reflected, throughout the programs. I'm sure you all are aware of the of the CAS program in the DP, and it's such a wonderful thing, that that agency supports action. Like, as you can see, when students are when students are exercising their agency, they are capable and confident of taking action. And uh, as a PYP teacher, I remember, initially when I began, I used to think that when are these students going to display action? But then I soon learned that no, this is going to happen. Even even after 10 to 12 years, you can see that action. You will see the action being taken by the child. And this is a wonderful way of practicing in implementing agency, and making sure that our students develop into good citizens of the country. All right, now here I would like to show you a few examples of agency in action from my school. Okay, this is about my last academic year. During our unit, who we are on relationships, we had our PYP 5 students coming in to talk about, the bond of friendship, the relationship of friendship. So they displayed agency and action. As you can see, and when they visited, because that is what they had taken ownership of their learning, they visited the earlier students to conduct a guest lecture on enduring friendships. And as you can see, they are using props like skates. They used, puppets, and they did a role play on how a relationship, the bond of a friend, in various situations. And the students were really impressed because at this age they have been seeing that, they look up to their teachers to role model for them. But watching the students say something which they agreed upon, they were really impressed, and they wanted to present their own act on relationships. And they came up to me and they said, I said, okay, why not, definitely we can go for it. And I said, okay, what would you like to do? They wanted we were, because we were doing family and friendships, they thought, why not have a role play on friendships? So they started looking at the reference books that were from the library, at the different way the family members dressed up, and the situations between them. And then of course they started planning. As you can see, they are writing, they are illustrating. They wanted to make a good show, so they really worked hard towards it. And finally, as you can see, the final show, they it was them who decided that we will bring in props from home. And they, as you can see, they have brought in these costumes and props from home, and they dressed up, and the scenarios were played out. It was wonderful. Here you can see the family situation where, they act like different members of the family. There's a happy family situation, there is a family situation where the tiff is happening, as you can see. So it was really uh, you know amazing to see these students take up ownership of their learning. Here are a few other pictures which I would like to share, of learner agency and action in my classroom. As you can see, the students have been planting their own garden, and they had bought seeds from home, and they wanted to actually see, how the seeds would grow. It was not an instructed activity, but they did bring in, and we gave them a space, of course, to sow their seeds. And the second picture, you can see how the environment has been set up for all kind of learners. There are some of them who would, who wanted to display the understanding through art. Some, wanted to use clay. Some wanted to write and draw. So as you can see, we have provided the environment for learning, right? And again, another few examples of choice, voice, and ownership. Yes, bringing things from home and taking ownership of their learning. The sandpit is again a very good space for learning. Yes, finally, this is an example I'm really very proud of this year. Uh, in my grade KG2, we have this year-long unit, how we express ourselves. The title is celebrations, and celebrations are something that you really need to experience the unique way of celebrating that particular festival, or whether it's a specific day or something. And my line of inquiry, unique way of celebrations, was basically focused on this by actually celebrating those events. But as you all know, because due to this pandemic, we are, we physically cannot be present in school. So this entire unit was totally irrelevant, celebrations. So that was the time when I thought of, okay, how does it provide authentic inquiry to the students? So it just came up to, why not co-create an inquiry with the students? So of course, thankfully, I have got very supportive parents, and I just propose the idea that how about we create the unit of inquiry. The parents were apprehensive. I said, no, don't worry, we will, there are various strategies which can help us. One of my colleagues, she was using the KUD, that is the know, understand, and develop strategies for differentiation in her class. But then I thought, why not use it to create an inquiry, because it seemed very apt. So I, along with the parents and with the and with the students, we try to understand what do we know about this current situation, and how can we express ourselves best in this during this pandemic. Then, what do we understand about this situation, and finally, what do we need to do to develop more, and what do we need to develop, or and how we can best express ourselves during this situation. So the the title of the inquiry, the thought that came forward was technology. Right now, technology is the best way to express ourselves. So it is really a very proud moment for me to say that the students created the lines of inquiry. They created the central idea, but yes, of course, the key concepts couldn't be changed because it was already aligned according to a vertical and horizontal alignment. So. But this is a perfect example of implementing student agency during the remote learning, because they have created the unit, and they take entire ownership of this unit. We have parents who are taking sessions to teach the students, to create presentation like with Google Slides and all. They are coming forward to do their bit to teach technology to the students. So it's wonderful. Yeah. Yes, yes. Here are some strategies which we can use to implement agency during remote learning. Yes, Miss Hanika, would you like to, tell us?
Yes, Miss Anjali.
Yes, yes, yes.
Firstly, I would like to tell you, I really was listening carefully to the examples you explained. It was really nice to know that in remote learning, also, how are you taking care of agency in the early years? I know it's very challenging to do agency for these early years in the remote learning, but your example was a really nice one. Thank you so much for this information.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, some more strategies which we can implement during remote learning in the early years is choice boards. Yeah, so students should be given a platform to exercise their choice, wherein we should be providing them with options, and they are making a choice of what they want to do, how they want to do. Of course, where they want to do is not in our choice now. Yeah, so what they want to do and how they want to do, we should give them this choice, wherein they feel, yes, I have selected this, and their ownership of learning comes in. Also, we should make a good use of reflection strategies and make sure that it's a part of our sessions, because that is one very important thing which gives the child ownership of his learning. Opportunities to share and discuss social skills. Yes, it is difficult to provide these opportunities now, but still we should be providing these opportunities to share and discuss, where kids share their thoughts with their other student friends, and also they together come and discuss and come to a common conclusion on certain tasks given. So yeah, this is how we can implement these strategies in our remote learning.
Another thing that I have been using the digital portfolio app, Seesaw, very successfully in my in my grade, and it has really wonderful resources on it. Links to beautiful videos and a lot of choice boards also, and this is such a good way also of collaborating globally. Instead of just sharing ideas within ourselves. Seesaw is again a very
Yes.
within teachers, of course. There are a lot of resources and ideas and activities which are shared by other teachers and which you can implement in your own classroom, and it's very easy to use. So Seesaw has another very good source which can be used to implement agency during remote learning, because it has got a variety of choice boards too. If you are doing a certain unit, maybe it's whether it's plants, like currently that's a unit which I am doing in my classroom. So there are such variety of choice boards are available with lots of videos and lots of hands-on activities. They can choose what they want to do and how they want to do. Right? Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for this
Yes.
information, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Now, like we said, some food for thought. Okay. Um, Everything is not
Yes.
as black and white as it seems. It's always gray. Okay. So let us just read the. Yes, Miss Hanika, would you like to read this question?
Yes, sure. Voice choice ownership for everyone. Do we really do this in early years? When it is the teachers that plan and implement each unit, how can students have agency if they are simply following the teacher's lead?
Yes, right.
So,
And if
yes, can we ponder on this question and think on some answers? We can also give away our answers in the chat box.
yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we can do, of course, share our thoughts, but it would be really nice if we would have our participants, sharing their thoughts about it. At the end of this webinar, we would be displaying our email IDs. So please, you can share your thoughts with us. Any questions, anything, right? Okay, the next question is, if play is setting up activities that all students must complete, then where is the play and where is the agency? Yes, we have discussed a lot about it right now, but then there are different perspectives to everything. So let's share our thoughts, share our ideas. We can you can list your understanding and the challenges you faced, and definitely build your network and collaborate with each other. It would be wonderful, to see everyone on the same platform. All right. These are our email IDs, and I would really like to thank Ms. Hanika Reja, and it was really wonderful.
My pleasure, ma'am.
It was really wonderful listening to you. It's nice. It's always nice, right, to have different perspectives. So it was really wonderful, and
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much, ma'am,
giving
for
us your
giving me
precious
this
time.
opportunity.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for joining us, Nirmal sir. Miss Hanika,
Yes, thank you.
Nirmal sir is our DP coordinator. He's a
Hello, sir.
Yes.
program.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Nice. It was a wonderful discussion. Lot of things to learn, and I mean, throughout the session, I was just reflecting if we really expose our students to such kind of a learning style, such kind of a learning environment. I mean, down the line, when they go for their MYP, when they go for their diploma, when they go for their college and university education, and then down the line, when they step into the real world, they will actually then start creating opportunities not only for them, for the world, because it is you who is to be saluted for taking all the efforts and exposing them to such kind of a learning environment. I mean, IB is of course the broader platform, but then coming to an individual level, like the amount of work that has been done, and I'm sure Anika ma'am will definitely agree. The kind of work you do in Pune as well. I mean, I know
Yes, yes.
dedicated staff, teachers, and so also Anjali ma'am out here. I mean, so much of commitment, so much of involvement. I'm sure like that there's a bigger benefit down the line. I mean, personally as well as for the whole planet. There's only one planet to live for this 8 billion people. So thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your
Thank
words
you
of
so much.
encouragement, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
sir.
much for
Thank
being
you.
there, sir. It has been a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, so thank you, Ms. Hanika. I will see you in the next one, right?
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good day. Thank you, everyone.
You too, ma'am.